September 11th, 2001 was a day that changed the world forever. 4 passenger planes hijacked by terrorists led to a massive destruction and loss. At 7:59, Al-Qaeda members hijacked flight number 11 from Boston to Los Angeles and crashed it into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At 8:14, flight number 175 was hijacked from Boston, also to Los Angeles, and crashed into the World Trade Center South Tower.
On 9/11, I was living in Louisville, Kentucky. I had a 4-month-old baby girl. We had had a rough night. She was up all night, so I was taking a morning nap while she was napping. My husband called and told me to turn on the news. I turned on the Today Show to see the 2 towers had been struck and all the smoke that was streaming all across the sky in New York City, and was watching like everyone else, just glued to the television. Was even more in horror when the first tower fell, because we had been watching all of the people running towards that tower, all the firemen, all of the people who were going to try to help were running towards that, basically to have the building collapse on them.
Following these 2 crashes were immediate effects like city evacuation, stopped all airlines across the nation, and a massive power outage throughout the city. At 8:20, flight number 77 takes off from Dulles Airport, Washington, D.C. to LA and crashes into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. At 8:41, flight number 93 traveling from Newark to San Francisco ended up crashing into a field in Pennsylvania, never reaching its intended target, the White House. As a total, the crashes killed 2,975 innocent people.
It was a really scary day. I had a good friend of mine. Her sister lived in New York City at the time, worked in Manhattan, and lived in Queens. So I was on the phone with her son to see if she'd heard from her sister Megan, and because it was so difficult to get a reception, it took about 4 or 5 hours before she found out if her sister was okay or not. I had a few other people I knew, acquaintances who lived in New York, did finally get word they were okay, but I don't know that anyone who was in Manhattan at the time was ever okay after that.
The intent of the hijackers of 9/11 was to attack a political, military, and economic location of the U.S. to lead to the destruction of our country. The leader of Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, broadcasted a tape saying, "What America is tasting now is something insignificant compared to what we have tasted for scores of years. The Islamic world has been tasting this humiliation and this degradation for 80 years.
I think at that time, before then, we as Americans really thought, imagine that anybody didn't like us. We thought everyone in the world wanted to be us. And that day we kind of found out that that wasn't the case. I think that there's I think people do kind of live from a fearful, a reactionary place now, ever since that day.
There are many long-term effects that have changed our country tremendously, like the health of the people due to all the smoke and ash, and the increase in terrorism, border protection, and airport security. 9/11 also was a huge part in the start of the War on Terror. Today, in New York City, there is a 9/11 memorial where they have waterfalls where the 2 buildings were. There is also a new building called the One World Trade Center, and it is easily spotted by the giant needle coming from the top.